Excited to be up here. Man, this is a great topic. I love service events. The reason I was excited to talk about this too is service events have been a journey for me. If you had talked to me before 2018, man, I feel like I was just hitting my head against the wall trying to make this program work and just things weren't clicking. Then all of a sudden, things started clicking. And I'm excited to share some of the things that have really helped me improve in this program and not just make it something that I felt like I had to do, but something I was genuinely excited about in my business. It's also an exciting topic because when we think about it, guys, we've been doing this program maybe about 10 years, maybe less than 10 years. Think about what the booth space or what just selling at events in general looked like, 20 years ago and how much we've evolved. So there's so much room to innovate within this program, and we're very blessed to have people in this room that are willing to innovate. Just in Rising Sun, for example, our service event manager, Alec Lyondike, who's an absolute stud, is, getting us into events at restaurants and, showrooms and different areas where we can create new client acquisition. So it's just going to be really exciting to see what the program looks like 10 years from now, and I think it's going to look very different, but in a very positive way. And by the way, I'll say the only reason I'm on this stage is a lot of the people in this room that I've been able to learn from. And I try to take things and make them my own and just steal from the best with integrity, give credit where credit is due. And but every one of you guys, if you're getting results in this program in any way, shape, or form, you have some value to add. So I would encourage you guys to continue to have conversations around this program and see how you can help each other get better. So I pulled some stats. Does anybody like stats? Yeah, stats are always fun. So numbers tell a story, right? So I pulled the stats from the last 10 years of service events on Eventalytics, and I used anybody over $300,000 in sales for the last 10 years, so making this, a significant part of their program, and figured out what people's average order was and their total. So no surprise, Brandon Brown coming in at a $903 average order and over $1 million in sales. Quick shout out to Curtis too, also sold over $1 million in this program, insane. Jason Jeffrey was at 718 average order at 590K in sales. Matt Graves, $702 average order at 500K in sales. Myself, $669 average order, 420K in sales. And the great Brian Carter at $640 average order, 350K in sales. Pretty cool how much money has been made with this program so far, right? But what's the commonality between all of these reps that I just mentioned? If you talk to any of them or if you work with any of them, you'll notice that they're all extremely package focused. So I'll share a quick story with you, really what the turning point for me at service events was. I remember sitting at a service event in Oklahoma City one day, and I get a call from Josh Mueller. And Josh correctly assumed that I did not have a lot of people booked that day, sadly. And he gives me the little, hey buddy, how your service events going? You selling anything? And I knew where this was going. I said, damn it, he looked at the stats. He always looks at the stats, and I know they're not good. Anyways, I'm super grateful to have somebody like Josh in my life because him and I had probably an hour and a half long conversation just about what I was doing at my service events and what we could probably tweak. A couple things that we kind of dialed in is I was just trying to build this huge, big, crazy wish list. I was kind of overwhelming myself. I think I was overwhelming my customers. I was jumping around too much. And I just didn't really have this streamlined process for selling packages, programs, and doing my service events. And so what that looked like for me, honestly, was just baby steps. It was like, all right, dude, just focus on selling upgrades for now and continue to layer that and get better at packages and programs, right? But that's where I started. But I've come a long way, and I'm excited to share some of the tips and things that I've found have worked when it comes to selling packages and programs. It'll be some stuff you've heard from Matt, a couple things from Brandon as well, and some verbiage I've got from Curtis and stuff too. These guys are all just goats. But I want to talk about introducing packages. I want to talk about building value in packages, closing on packages, and upselling packages. So when it comes to introducing packages, this was probably one of the biggest things that helped. My verbiage for introducing packages at service events is basically, hey, Ms. Jones, just so you know, Cutco has changed a few things that we're doing. Since you're a past customer, do you mind if I share that with you really quick? Of course, they're like, yeah, what did you change, right? So our quality, our service, our guarantee is all the same, so don't worry about that. We changed what we were doing when it came to specials and pricing at our service events. A lot of our customers used to purchase Cutco individually. It was by far the most expensive way to get Cutco, and people didn't want to pay individual pricing. So what we did is we designed these new programs and packages specifically for our past customers like yourself, so that way you could take advantage of them and utilize them to save some more money, right? So what did I just do with that approach though, right? You're grabbing people's attention, first off. Hey, we changed things. Oh gosh, what happened, right? You create a problem in their mind with their previous buying experience, right? You're trying to reframe it. You're explaining a solution on how we made the buying experience better for the customer, right? And then we ask permission to engage in a conversation about that solution. Very simple, right? So, of course, you're going to get a lot of people that will ask about multiple programs, by the way, and you always want to make a mental note of this in the back of your mind as to whether you want to, pitch all the programs close together or you want to, upsell one after the other. I think both strategies work, by the way. It was just if you were in the $1 Million Breakout, Philip Tice was talking about how a lot of his packages come from upsells, and some people it's they like to start high and end high, right? I think you can do both ways. So, but the question here after you introduce the packages is what's next for them, right? And I love what Brandon talked about with the priorities, and it really just gives you a roadmap for the customer, right? They will give you a roadmap if you ask the right questions and you dive in and you get intentional. But really, the whole idea behind introducing packages is reframing a customer's perception on how Cutco should be purchased. It's reframing a customer's perception on how Cutco should be purchased. I would love to see in the future it just get easier and easier and easier for people to sell packages, especially to past customers. I have a very high ROR rate with all the divisions that I work within. And I think the reason why I sell a lot of ROR, but also my average order on ROR is really high, is all of these customers have been so primed to buy packages and programs already by a lot of these unbelievable CSPs that we work with, right? So let's talk about building value in packages a little bit. Have a solid elevator pitch. What Brandon just gave on stage was fantastic with his intro, right? That is the perfect example of just a nailed elevator pitch, right? Did you guys like the elevator pitches yesterday, by the way? Good stuff, right? So again, I encourage you guys to get that into your toolbox and start utilizing that to build quick value. But here's the thing. You should have a 1, 3, 5, maybe even a 10-minute pitch on each program. Now, is every customer going to need a 10-minute cookware pitch? No, but you should be good enough as a salesperson and good enough as a CSP where you have enough knowledge and information and value to build with the customer where you could do that. Honestly, does anybody here, honestly, if they came up on stage right now, feel like they could give an 8-minute family program pitch? Probably just Curtis. So, but here's the deal. And by the way, not every customer would need an 8-minute family program pitch, but think about that. What would it look like to be able to share that much value with a customer, right? Now, one thing I want to talk about when it comes to building value in packages is not overselling, but not underselling. I do think a lot of reps have a tendency to oversell. People will be with us, they'll be sold, they're kind of nodding, they're sold, but we just keep talking. And a lot of the time we don't need to, right? But with the elevator pitches, it can get very tempting to just kind of undersell and just be like, well, I got my pitch out. Do you want it or do you not, right? So I think it really comes down to looking for cues from the customers, verbal and nonverbal cues to see if they're with you, they get it, they're excited, and they're sold, right? So I would also encourage you when it comes to building value in packages to have a story for each program and package. Brian Carter mentioned something on one of our talks or one of our TGP meetings that was building value or teasing packages and programs through third-party stories, right? Well, I'm catching up with a customer, building rapport, connecting with them or whatever. I will sometimes mention different stories about people just utilizing different programs for whatever, right? Based on what they're engaging in. But, use some stories. So you should have a solid story for like, the guarantee on the flatware. I used my customer that ran 7 spoons to the garbage disposal. For the cookware, one of my customers who burned a handle and, sent it back, after 30 years and got it replaced. My customer used a knife to cut a tree branch down in her backyard. That one's my favorite. But yeah, you just get some insane stuff, but it connects with people. Again, facts tell, but stories sell. So that's what helps you build a lot of value. Here's one of the biggest tips I can give you in building value is focusing on 3 things, or 4 words here you should write down. Decluttering, consolidating, downsizing, and minimizing. So much of my pitches now are so focused on just helping people declutter everything in their kitchen, right? People get so tired of the random cupboard full of pans, the mismatched drawer full of silverware, the random drawer full of knives, 4 drawers worth of accessories that could probably be minimized down to 1 with our accessory package, right? So have that be one of the main value statements when you're pitching any package or program is just, again, helping people downsize, minimize, consolidate. One of my favorite things I've been telling customers lately is, hey, Ms. Jones, like the common misconception is everybody thinks I'm here to add stuff to your kitchen. Just so we're on the same page, I'm not. I'm here to help you downsize, minimize, and consolidate in the kitchen so that way you have one good set of something, right? It's been my favorite thing to share with customers, and everybody resonates with it a lot of the time. So let's talk about closing packages here. When I think about closing packages, it really comes down to identifying what the reason for getting over the hump or making the decision is for them. Because everybody is different, right? And your closes are going to look different based on what that customer values, right? Does that customer value time? Do they want to get a package deal because they just don't want to go back and forth to the next year or two trying to add more different packages, right? Is it money? Do they want to save a ton of money by bundling things, right? Is it just the energy, again, of kind of like tracking your Cutco guy down and going back and forth, right? They just want to knock it out now. Is there a pain point? Do they have a pain point around all the stuff they've accumulated over time? And the idea of them moving into their new house or moving into their new kitchen and not being able to have the highest quality stuff just sucks for them, right? Like, what is it for that customer? And I would hone in on that. Also, tie the reason that they should add to why they pulled the trigger on the first purchase originally, right? Like, why did they get their Cutco first, right? Was it they were trying to help a college student out? If that was it, tie them into your goals, and they'll get excited to help you out, right? If it was because they saw the value and again consolidating, then maybe it's that. Maybe some people just really love the best of the best, right? And that's what's going to get them to be like, all right, I really should just do this for multiple parts of my kitchen, right? As Matt talked about yesterday, if you have good quality rapport, which, by the way, we're seeing all past customers at these events most of the time, right? Maybe some event leads here and there. You already have that rapport built with the customer, and they already like you and trust you and have done business with you in the past. So use your goals. Use your goals for sure. This is probably one of the best places to share your goals. So tie them into something. One of the biggest things that I've been utilizing lately, though, especially when it comes to packages, is stop asking if questions and start asking what questions. It's not about if, it's about what. If you guys work with me, anybody's worked with me at the booth in the last year or two, like my favorite closing question, I'm like, great, is that the right size set for you, or do you want to look at something smaller or larger? Right? Because it's not, hey, is this something that you want to do? It's like, hey, what option are we on? I have zero attachment to what you get. I just want to make sure you get the right option. So what are we looking at here, right? So what questions, not if. Do you guys definitely want to do the pearl handles, or would you maybe want to look at the classic of the red? What would look better in the kitchen, right? Especially with package deals, right? Now, do we want to do just the cookware and the knives, or do you want to maybe look at what the flatware would cost as well, or do we want to just stick with this today, right? Is there anything else you would consider adding to this package? Also, just like getting in their mind of like, what are you planning on doing with your old, what's the game plan with the old stuff, by the way? So when you go home and you get all your new pans that you're really excited about, what are you going to do with all the old stuff in the cabinet, in the cupboards? Are you going to give it away to your daughter? Are you going to donate it to Goodwill? Like, what are we going to do with this, right? Again, it's not a matter of if they're getting it, it's what they're getting and what that process looks like. So let's talk a little bit about upselling packages. Verbiage I like to use when it comes to upselling packages, I say, hey, Mrs. Jones, what I find happen a lot of the time is people come to my service event, and they'll get their upgrade, or cookware, flatware, whatever they got, right? They'll get their upgrade, and they come back next year, and they say, Matt, we absolutely love our knives. This is a great investment. And they're like, hey, we're ready to do the flatware, or we're ready to do the cookware. It's kind of a process for my customers over time. So what a lot of people are doing now, if they can kind of wrap their head around it, is they actually bundle their packages together, so that way they can save a ton of money in the long run. So you build that value right there for that customer, and they're going to be more open-minded to adding more packages, right? You want to plant seeds about package deals early on too, by the way. Letting people know early on in the appointment, yeah, by the way, you can actually bundle this with this to save some extra money, right? So that's huge. You also want to slow down when you're upselling. It's a huge thing. Brian Carter gave a fantastic message on like psychology of upselling, and he was like, so many people just dive right into it. And a lot of the time it's like, hey, you got to ease off a little bit, you know, break the pattern. They just spent a ton of energy and mental energy on the first initial purchase. So slow it down for them, break their pattern a little bit, and re-engage. So show patience for sure. Like, you have to have the energy that like you're totally cool with selling them this 5 years down the road, but you know that's not in their best interest because it's going to cost them a lot more money. So just try to make it an easy yes for them now because of an incentive, right? But show patience when you're upselling. You know, money line I got from Seth is, you know, save money on stuff you're going to get eventually anyways. I'm here to save you money on stuff you're going to get eventually anyways, right? And guys, give a deal. Like, give a deal when you're upselling packages. You know, I'll give you an example. Like, framing is everything when it comes to giving deals, right? So a lot of us, if we add on a flatware package, right, we'll do the corporate discount plus the serving pieces for free, right? It's about $1,200 off or so. So one way you could frame it is like, yeah, because of the discount we have going on right now, it's $900 off through our corporate discount, and because you're bundling it, we can get you an extra $300-400 off because you added it to this. Why not just tell the customer, yeah, because you're bundling it today, you're saving an extra $1,200 on this package. To see the difference there, customers will be like, yeah, I'll take that. I'll do $1,200 off that package. That sounds great, right? So make sure you frame your deals properly. And guys, use the special sheets to upsell packages. Again, once people see the special sheets, it becomes a real thing for them. So use your Vast Action Binder. You know, I love having the packages pamphlet or the laminated sheet that Vast Action has just to show the different packages and programs. Then I love having on my iPad, you know, the actual pricing of everything because it makes it real. So anyways, package deals are a game changer for you guys. Like, and it's a game changer for our business. About 10% of my sales last year came from packages. It's not a small amount, right? So it was about I sold about 50, 60 grand in package deals last year. So imagine for yourself adding another 20, 30 grand in income just by getting really, really good at this, right? At service events. The sooner you start making this a focus and the sooner you're going to start reaping the benefits of it. So I think service events are easily one of our biggest opportunities to close large deals. So you got to be ready for when those opportunities arise. So last year, I had my first $20,000 day at a service event, which I honestly didn't even think was possible, right? That just blew my best day out of the water. And, you know, some people are like, oh, you got lucky. You know, you got good people in front of you. Yes, I did get good people in front of me. But I think that luck is when preparation meets opportunity, and I was prepared to close those deals. So anyways, that's what I got for you guys. God bless, happy selling, and let's crush it.
Love it.